Now I have another exercise here called temp cities. And you can see that this one is also set up in tabs. Command N new document. This one, if I was setting it up from scratch, would be 27 picas wide, 21 picas high, not facing pages. The margins are 3 picas left and right, and top. I'm going to unlink these because the bottom should be 3.5 picas or 3 picas, 6 points. And again, I'll copy this text and just drop it in, snap it to my guides. Command Option I, show hidden characters. The font for this exercise is, again, Helvetica Neue. Command A, select all. And in my character palette, I'm going to select Helvetica Neue. The style is 75 bold. It needs to be 10 point on a 16 point lead, except these first 2 lines are on a lead of 12 points. And Command B, text frame options, you can see that what I did on this one is baseline options. I've set my first baseline offset to X height so that the X height lines up with the top margin, and the ascenders and the capitals actually poke out of the frame. My tabs for this table, Command Shift T, tab setup. I actually have 6 tabs here. The first line. Today and tomorrow, Command Shift T. This has 2 tabs. And they're centered tabs, and one of them is at 18 picas, and the other one is at 13.5 picas. It'd be 13p6. The rest of the lines in the table have 4 tab stops, and they are at 10p6 or 10.5 picas and 13p6 or 13.5 picas, 16p6, and 19p6 or 19.5 picas. I have some underscores here. Ten on 12 is correct here. These will be centered, Command Shift C, centered, or in the paragraph panel, the center alignment button, or on the paragraph palette, the center alignment button. This is the palette, this at the top is the panel, or control panel. This needs a rule below. Command Option J, rule below. Looks like a 1-point rule would probably work. I need it offset somewhat so it doesn't run into the text. Offset. Probably about that far. This line also needs an underscore. I can't just copy that because unfortunately, it would change my tab setup. Command Option J, rule below, 1 point, offset, 3 points. The source or the attribution line should be 6 on 12. And this last line should have the same underscore as the top. So this time I can use the eyedropper and sample that. Now, how do you get those gray bars in there and have it be part of the table and not something that if you have to move this somewhere will be left behind as a separate graphic? These can also be underscores or paragraph rules. I'm going to select this line and Command Option J, rule below. I could do this as a rule below and shift it up, or a rule above and shift it down. I think I'll do the rule above and shift it down. Because they'll always start at the baseline. This needs to be about as big as a line space, which is 16 points. It should be the text color or black, but it should be a tint of, say, 20%. And then, actually, as a rule above, I still need to shift it down because you can see it goes too high. So I'll shift this down to where it looks like it might be even. Let's say okay, and look at that, looks about right. I could then take the Denver line, use the eyedropper, and sample the style here, which includes the underscore or the gray bar background, and I could just paint this across Spokane to add it to there. And that's it. That's the end of that table. Now, I said I was going to show you how to do cells also, and I'm going to use this same table to do cells. The first thing I'm going to do is probably clear out those things I just did. So Command Option J, turn off the rule above. And I'm actually going to do that Command Option J, turn off the rules below also. All of the rules. Because cells allow me to put rules where I want them. Now, the stuff that's going to be in the table is just whatever's in tabs. So I'm going to select all of the tabular matter, and then in my table pull down, convert text to table. Use the tabs as column separators, use the paragraph mark as the row separator, and it has no style. You can set up table styles, but I don't need a table style for one table. Okay, so there it is. Now some strange things happen based on how much space it thought it needed. The first thing I want to do is select all of these rows and pull this open and make sure I get all of those rows. So I actually have one too many rows there. I'm going to select all of these rows and make them all exactly 16 points high, because that's what my lead was. Excuse me, 16. Make these all exactly, not at least, but exactly 16 points high. I have an extra row here. I'm going to select that row and right click, delete row. Grab the stroke between the cells or the side of the cell wall and move them roughly where I want them. Now I've got to figure out exactly how big to make these to have everything come out right. And I think these 4 columns need to all be exactly 3 picas wide. I can grab this cell wall and slide this over until everything fits inside. All of these should be centered, so I can select all the cells and Command-Shift-C, center all the text, or use the centering button in the Align Center button in the control panel, or the Align Center button on the paragraph control palette. Some stuff still isn't where it's supposed to be. So I'm going to select these 2 cells, right-click, merge cells. Select these 2 cells, right-click, merge cells. I'm missing some type here. Right. Command-A, select all, copy, Command-V, paste, and then just remove today from here, and remove tomorrow from there. Okay, I've got lines where I don't need them. I'm going to select all of this. And here in the control panel, there's a little box that shows a representation of the table. I'm going to select all of these lines here representing the cell walls and make them 0 points thick. So there's my cells with no borders or strokes on any of the cells. These 2 rows here, I don't need any vertical strokes, and I don't need any center stroke. But for the top and the bottom of this, I need a 1 point stroke. And go to preview mode, and you can see that gives me those 2 rules. I need 1 more at the bottom. I'll select this row, and selecting only the bottom in the little diagram in the control panel, make that 1 point thick. Then all I have to do is drag and click across Baltimore and fill this cell with black. And in my swatch palette, make that, say, 20% tint of black. I can select this entire row, take the eyedropper and copy that. And I might be able to, no, I can't do that, it'll just do the type. So I'm gonna click in here and drag across so I select all of these cells in the row and copy that. And that's it. That's how you do that using the table function instead of tabs. And this is a much more versatile system for making tables or things like that schedule of events calendar that I showed you before, or that complicated registration form. For this table, either way works, but I want you to do it with the table function so that you have some experience creating tables this way. Command-Shift-S, save as, temp table demo, and save. If you turn these in, I would like them named your last name, ST for survey of typography, EX for exercise, and name them 1 and 2. So golf and tennis would be your last name, STEX1, and table temp is your last name, STEX2. And that's all there is to tables.